Okay, so I made this dog cable. I didn't make the cable. I bought the cable and I just made the ends on it for a dog cable. Okay, the problem is that I made it way too long. So I wanted it to stop at the edge of the driveway, and instead it goes to this edge of the driveway. And the problem is that whenever you're trying to pull in and out, he likes to run across the driveway. So I'm gonna have to cut the cable and redo the ends on it. Okay, here you can see this is the cable. I've cut the mark that I made. You didn't get to see that on camera, but I measured it, made a mark where I wanted to cut it, and I've cut it in two. Here's one end, here's the other end. Here's one cut. Right here is where it'd be connected together. So this side right here, I'm going to be putting the loop and the hook on this end. This side right here, I'm going to be taking the hook and the loop off of. Okay, to start with, I'm going to unwrap this tape off of it. Okay, you can see I've got all the tape unwrapped off of it. Now, I need to start unwrapping some of this wire that I wrapped around it, enough to be able to get this piece right here out. Okay, so I'm going to loosen up this in order to take this coupling off in order to get it out of my way. Okay, now I got that coupling out of the way. The end of my wire is right here, so I should be able to grab it and unwrap it, and hopefully it'll loosen up enough that I can get this piece out of here that I need. This one here is in two pieces of wire because when I done it, I messed up and didn't make my wire long enough, but that did loosen it up enough that I could get that little piece right there out, and that's all I need off of this. So I'm done with this. Okay, so I've got my piece I needed and my end off of the short side. So now I've got the long side here, and I've got the cut end, and I'm getting ready to start making a loop. You got to separate the strands. You need 3 strands. So right there I've got 2. Need to get one more. Okay, right there I've got 3 strands. Separate them. And the strands are gonna want to set how they're supposed to, so this makes it a lot easier. See, now you've got 2 strands. Untwist them there a little bit more. The more you untwist it, the easier it is, but then the more that you have to wrap with the wire the way that I do it. Now remember, this is just for a dog cable. This isn't for towing vehicles or winches or anything like that. So you've got your 2 pieces. You loop them over. and you just twist it right back. See how that just looks like regular cable right now? It all went right back together. Now see this side over here looks like it's been took apart. Okay, now right here's the end. Now twist the other end together. Okay, so now you've got a nice little loop. This looks like bent over cable. Now I'll put my loop in here, and then I'll squeeze it down like this, and then I'll take my wire and I'll start from back here and wrap this in order to hold this nice and tight. Whenever I'm done, it will be a nice and tight loop like that. This one here started out just like this, and all my wire wrapped it up nice and tight to make it look like that. You don't have wire clamps or tails or anything sticking out for it to get caught on, tangled up on. It seems to be working out pretty nice. Okay, so I've got me a piece of wire cut. All I'm using is just regular mechanics tie wire, rebar tie wire, just regular tie wire, nothing special. So the way that I do this, start off with, I don't even have the loop in it. I don't want to see it's laying on the table. Start down here. See, I got it end folded. Kind of put it up there like that, kind of. That way you can hold it and start wrapping it around. Once you get a couple wraps started, it's much easier. The first couple wraps, they're not so easy. Take a pair of pliers, help you hold it, help you tighten it up. You want it to be nice and tight. Progress. Keeping it nice and tight. I'm using the pliers to be able to pull it. Keeping it nice and tight, even on the back. Now this piece right here that you used in order to help you get it started, let's cut it off. Fold that over. That way when you wrap up that far, you don't even see it. Okay. Make a couple more wraps. Now you should start seeing your circle, your loop, starting to get smaller. You should start seeing it to close up here, because you should be squeezing this together here. Don't forget to put your piece in here before it's too late. See, now you can see that even without holding it with the pliers, that there's tightened up enough that you might be able to get it out, but it's not going to fall out. I'm going to go a few more wraps and make it to where it will not come out. Okay, so now you can see what I have here. You've seen what I started with. This little loop is not coming out. You're not going to pull it out. So now, clip the end of the wire. I'm going to tuck it down in there in order to hide it. Bend it to where it'll tuck in there. Now you've got a nice end that's not coming out. There's no wire clamps. This is, for the most part, fairly smooth to where it doesn't get caught. And with some practice, you can make that even more smooth. Maybe if we take this and kind of squeeze it around a little bit, maybe it'll smooth it out. It made it look a little better. So now what I'm going to do is put tape over this, just as a finishing off. Okay, so I'm just using simple electrical tape, nothing special. If I had heat shrink, I put heat shrink on it, and that'd pretty much be the end of it, but I don't have heat shrink. There it is. That cable end is done. Now you can put this back together. Give her a little snug with the pliers. All done. Okay, so now you can see that's as far as he can reach. He can only reach that one edge of the driveway. Before, he could reach that side of the driveway, and like I said, that was a problem. Now he can only reach to that side. That's good for him because he's not able to run out in front of any vehicles, ours or somebody else's. So you can see it worked.